Periscope. Okay, YouTube just sent me a notification. Say what? That's interesting. Oh, okay, so it's showing me that I'm live. Let's see if I'm live on YouTube. YouTube just sent me a notification too, so that's promising. Yeah. How's everybody doing? Yeah, look like we're live. Live on Facebook, live on Periscope. Yeah, I mean live on YouTube, live on Periscope, not live on Facebook because I'm not going live on Facebook. Or should I go live on Facebook? Let's see if we do that. How you guys doing? It's Ty coming at you live from California. It's been a minute, haven't been on, been working behind the scenes. At the same time, my neck went out, like something happened. And so I've been haven't been able to move. I still can't move right now. It hurts so bad, like it really does. Let's see if we can go live on here. Okay, yeah, I guess, but you guys can't even really see me on here though. Let's see. It's exposing for yeah, you can barely even see me. But you can see me on YouTube and Facebook. So that is what I'm going with right now. Hope all these have alerts. Let's see. There we go. Copy. Close. I know Weston's like, why don't you say something? I'm about to say something. So now we're live on Facebook, YouTube. How you guys doing? Vicky just announced running for office on Jimmy's show. Thoughts? My thoughts. Shoot. I'm sorry, y'all. I have like the worst neck. I can barely move. So sometimes you may see my face crinkle up. It's just because I'm in like the worst pain ever. No, Mickey Kantz, she's a good friend of mine. I thought that, give me 1 second. She's a good friend of mine, and I thought that I'm happy for her. It's something that she should do, something that she wanted to do. I think she ran for public office a couple years back, if I'm not mistaken, in LA, actually. So no, it makes sense. As you guys can tell, she's definitely passionate about it. She loved politics and things like that. So no, I think it's great for her. Her mother was I think she was a state representative, if I'm not mistaken, for California. But I know she was in office at one point. So it's a part of their legacy. So good for her. I think she should make it happen. Public Tribune. Okay, just saw Trump. Okay, so I want to do this this live. Jordan, don't forget, you guys. Jordan is working on something big, so he couldn't. He's been working. I know he's been teasing the story, and I want to be very general about how I speak on it, also, because I don't want to say anything to put anything out there for you guys to go search. But he's working close with the publishers because it's coming out in a couple weeks. So that's why he's been on crunch time and haven't been going live. All right. So that's that. So I told him, even though I'm in the worst pain ever, that I'll go ahead and go live. I've been in my bed since Tuesday, I think. No, not Tuesday. I'm sorry. Since Saturday. I woke up Saturday. My neck was like, I don't know. I just got up and I moved a certain way and it just went out of whack. And ever since then, it's gotten worse. I thought it would be better by now, but it's not really. But anyway, so that's why he isn't here. I'm here to do something quick just to let you guys know we're still in the game. And people on Facebook, remember this is a super chat, so you guys can leave some super money to support the journalism that we're doing. Just to give y'all a heads up on the things that I'm working on. You already know it's the same thing as the documentary, especially based on the story coming out later on next month. Just making sure that's solid and it can kind of properly articulate what we went through while we were there, and you guys can kind of feel it. Just trying to make sure I have all 3 acts in place. It's kind of one of those things that when you don't go in with the intention of kind of making this story, then you get a lot of footage and you gotta try to put those things in place so it can have a beginning, middle, and end, so you guys can feel what was felt while we were there. So, but anyway, talking about Bill Cosby, Brett Kavanaugh, and Donald Trump. I started a little late because I wanted to listen to Donald Trump's the conference he just had when he was speaking to the journalists to see what he would say about the third lady coming out on Kavanaugh, the accusations that she came out with, accusing him of being in a line, I guess, of people. So there's a thing called trains, right? So trains, cannabis. I know. Honestly though, cannabis isn't working at all. Like dead ass. Like if I smoke, it makes it, because I don't know, it makes it more intense. I feel it. I'm just like it's not good, because when I'm high, if I'm high, then sometimes I'm not thinking about the pain, and then I'll move a certain way and it would just the other night I was like, I can't wait till this shit is out of my system so I can at least kind of know where the pain is and I know what not to do. So it didn't work well for me. So, but anyway, a new lady came out. So like I was saying, I wanted to just see what President Trump was going to say about this new lady coming forth. Her name is Julia Swetnick. She's a 55-year-old. She says that her and Brett Kavanaugh met in college, and that she saw him at a party at I'm assuming a Greek party, in line to run a train on a girl. And so running the train, you guys probably, if you've been watching the news, you know what it is. But if you're not familiar with it, what running a train is, it's, there's a girl in a room, there's one girl, and, guys all take turns having sex with her. I feel uncomfortable talking about it, but you can see it like on anything, on porn sites or anything like that. You can kind of see what that thing is, kinda, sorta. Sometimes I don't want to say it's like a gangbang. I don't think it's really like a gangbang, because a gangbang, everybody's doing one at one time. But if it doesn't, I think they kind of both run in the same group, because it's either or. But it's just a woman and a lot of guys waiting to have their turn with a woman. Sometimes the woman is sober and she wants to do it. Sometimes the woman is not sober and she really don't know what's going on. In this case, it doesn't specify in the New York Times, brother. The woman that was, it wasn't Julie. Julie wasn't the one. Julie said that she saw him in a line about to run a train on another girl. So it wasn't this girl that he ran a train on. But she did say in the New York Times that she was a victim of those trains, those group trains that they would have at these Greek parties. So she was a victim of that. She said it happened at a party that he was at, that Brett Kavanaugh was at, but did not say whether it was Brett Kavanaugh. I think she was just saying he was present at the party when that happened to me. And so, that is what it is. So this is the third lady. You have Dr. Christine Ford, which it was the first one to come out about him being very aggressive and trying to take her clothes off or touch her on a bed. And then you got Deborah Ramirez, who also said that he allegedly showed his genitals to her. So those are the things that we are coming to terms with now as we lead up to tomorrow's hearing. And so the reason that I titled it Trump, Bill Cosby, and Kavanaugh and the Me Too movement, because the Me Too movement has really lit a fire up under or lift the veil, that thick drape. I wouldn't even call it a veil. That thick drape of women being assaulted, sexually assaulted, verbally assaulted, and nothing being done about it. So, yesterday when Bill Cosby was sentenced to 3 to 10 years, and now he has to register as a sexual offender. You know what? To be completely honest, I wanted him to go to jail out the gate. I'm like, yeah, I didn't like the book. I had a vendetta against him because he wrote a book down in black young people, saying if we just pulled our pants up and all that stuff, and that really rubbed me the wrong way, and I haven't liked him ever since. So I was like, yeah, he did it. And then obviously, 50 people ain't gonna lie about one thing. Now it's one or two people you can maybe try to have that argument. I don't even think 2 people can have that argument, but 50, dog, come on now. So, that happened, and but honestly, I felt, like I said, I felt that way. I was like, yeah, he needs to go to jail, period, point blank. Nothing else needs to be said. Like, this is too many. This is not a coincidence. This is not a plot. But then yesterday I caught myself looking at a guy who kind of raised me, right? And this, I'm sure a lot of people. I'm just being honest. Like, I started looking at, like, damn. Like, I started seeing him as, this man that kind of raised me, because I was raised on that. I was raised on the shows, his movies. Piece of the Action. What was the boxing movie? It's a boxing. It's a very funny movie with him and JJ from Good Times, and the father from Good Times. What was the name of that? Damn, I can't remember it. And then another one that him and Sidney Poitier did, like a series of movies together. And those things raised me, and I was feeling like, man, I need him to get consequences. But I was kind of feeling like, man, but if he got in house arrest, I wouldn't be upset at that. I remember I caught myself thinking that, and then I started thinking, like, well, what about the people that he abused? Those people's lives have been derailed for years. Like, you got to understand, when someone's sexually assaulted, that dictates your actions, how you view people. It gives you distrust. You start to blame yourself at times, and all these things happen, and you start to make decisions based on that thing throughout it colors your entire life. It dictates the majority of the things you do, your interactions with people. And I was like, what about those people whose lives have been interrupted by his selfishness? I'm like, and then, I had to check myself. I'm like, you need to step out of that. Don't get caught up in some goddamn fantasy that you had of yourself when you were a kid, and come back to reality. You can't do that, because if it actually has happened to me. But you think that what I would have wanted to happen to the person who tried to um, sexually assault me, I wouldn't feel any pity for him. And so, I had to check that real quick and just, put myself back in. So, I think 3 to 10 years, I don't know. 3 to 10 years is a little soft for me, but it is what it is. I think he should have got the 10. I really do. I think because as you guys know, is Jerry on here? I see Jerry the troll. Jerry, if you're on here, what's happening, player? Uh, so what is exhausted 11? Ty, I was happy he was sentenced. He abused dozens of women. I did not feel sorry for him a bit. For sure, for sure. And I agree with you 100%. I'm just telling you my chain of thought, and that's just an honest thing. Like, I didn't feel pity at all until I saw him in the handcuffs, and I was like, I kind of did feel away a little bit. But like I said, I checked that because I understand, and I understand because I know what happened to me, and I know how it affected me and how it still affects me. So I completely understand. I was, just tripping. So yeah. So you think about that for me. This guy, this trial actually yesterday when he was sentenced. This is for Andrea Constant and Andrea Constant, and she was like one of those, I don't know, needle in the haystacks, because the majority, the last time he had the mistrial is because a lot of the evidence they couldn't use because it's so far back. A lot of people couldn't talk because it had passed the statute of limitations. So it was really a weak case, and she just kind of came out, and it was still within the time frame where they can file a criminal suit. And so this woman, she was an ex-basketball coach, or still is a basketball coach in Canada, and she told her account, and thank God for her. People that didn't feel that at least feel some type of vindication throughout this event. Letting them know that your status and your name and your fame will not hide you from the law, and hey, to keep it 100 throughout the time in this country, for me, when you look at the news and you see some celebrity, they get off. They do. They get off. They got money for a dream team. They have, people that love them, that just don't want to think anything bad of them because of their philanthropy or whatever. And so they got all these people working together, and a lot of them have they have relationships with these judges and things like that. And so, they do, like you understand when you think about, I was watching some video about Anthony Bourdain, and you saw how many people he was connected to that knew him, like actually knew him. He knew a lot of people. So like famous people have access, and they know a lot of people because judges are judges. They like people too. And so so you think about that and how many people have gotten off with murder. And not just OJ, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that got off. I forgot old boy's name, the actor that threw his wife over the boat and said that she jumped. You know what I mean? All that. And so, hopefully it gives the women like just the spirit of knowing that no one's too big for the law. I mean, this is one example. I think our criminal justice system is flawed. And there's a lot of work we got to do, but it does give them an understanding that if I come forward, and this probably will help a lot of other women, because it's not an easy thing to come forward, to tell someone about what happened to you. I never, to this day, my parents don't know, to this day, and it happened. I had to have been 13 or 14, probably 14. Yeah, probably 13 or 14. And, they don't know to this day. I told my sister maybe some months afterwards. And she even said, she was like, I'm not going to tell Daddy because he'll kill him. And because it was one of my cousins. And on my mother's side. And so... that they never knew, and my mother never knew. But I had a cousin named Reggie, Reggie's dead now. He used to work on cars a lot, so I would help him sometimes, and he'll give me money and things like that, right? Cool. And so I've always heard. Now this is back in like early '90s, so it was always like, yeah, nah, Reggie, Reggie may be gay or something like that, which is like one of the stereotypes, right? The true stereotype is that I know how I was raised. My parents didn't know, and they were just ignorant. And obviously, ignorance comes from not being around, and you get your assumptions from just other people. And so the assumption was throughout Compton, where I was raised in Eugenia Village, that gay people touched on kids. So I was raised thinking that gay people touched on kids. And obviously that's not the truth, but that's one of those stereotypes that's like so absurd, but people actually believed it. People told their kids that, and I was told that. So there was a rumor going around that he was gay and stuff like that. So, but he had never done anything. I would always work. He had never even made me feel a certain way. Never. I knew that about him. I probably looked at him a certain way. I don't remember. But, so this one day he picks me up to go help him do some stuff. And, I'm a kid. I think I'm probably 13 at this time. I'm like, want McDonald's. At this time, we're broke. We don't have money like that. And so, if we can, get McDonald's, or something is good. So if that's part of my payment, yeah. But when I was talking to him about McDonald's, he kept saying, "Oh, you're gonna have to pay me back for this. You have to." But he kept emphasizing that. He kept saying that, and that made me feel weird. I'm like, what do you mean by that? And so I started feeling real uncomfortable. And we're driving like to his house, and he kept like emphasizing that. Oh, you're gonna really like. And I was just like, he made me feel uncomfortable. I don't know what I thought about it, but he just like really made me feel uncomfortable. So we go in his house, and he's like saying he had to pick up some tools and stuff like that. And so he's in his room for a second. Then he tell me to come in there. So I go in there. Now go in there. He's watching like this porno, and it's a female on male porno. It's like at that time I would say it was it was a porno with a man and a woman. It was that type of porno. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I don't mind watching a porno. I wasn't thinking nothing of it. And at this time, it's like the '90s, so I'm wearing hella baggy pants because I was dancing and sagging and thinking I was trying to gangbang. And I remember him, like, I'm sitting on the bed. We're both sitting on the edge of the bed. He puts his hand in my pocket, and he touches my penis. And I jump. I can't do it right now. I'm very demonstrative sometimes, but I can't do it right now. But I jumped off the bed. I'm like, what the fuck you doing? And he was like, would you let me put, and then he went and said, well, like, would you let me can I put my hand in your pocket again if I leave you $10? Oh, because I put my hand in my pocket and there was $5 in there. So he had put $5 in my pocket as he touched me. And so I jumped, and I was like, what you doing? He was like, would you let me put my hand in your pocket again if I give you $10? I'm like, no, take me home. And I'm telling him, take me home. He keep asking. He's like trying to barter with me. And I'm like, so I ran in the kitchen, and I grabbed a knife. And as I grabbed the knife, he grabbed my entire body and said, okay, put the knife down. I'll take you home. I'm like, take me home. He was like, okay. And so he let me go. I put the knife down, and I went outside, and I just waited. And that, that was what happened by a family member. And like I said, I still haven't told my parents. It's just something that I haven't done. I mean, I've told therapists. Like I said, I told my sister a couple months later. And I actually, it's funny. I actually told my sister-in-law also as well. Years later, maybe 10 years later, I told her, and she confronted him about it. I remember she confronted him about it, and because she told me that he denied it, whatever. And I was like, if I ever see that nigga, I'm gonna kill him. That was always a thing in my head. I'm gonna kill him. And maybe 2 weeks after that. After she told me that she confronted him and he said no. I was walking on the campus of, I was in San Bernardino at this time. I'm walking on the campus of San Bernardino Community College, and I see him walking toward me. And as many times as I told myself that I would kill this nigga if I ever saw him, I froze up and got scared. I really did. I froze up and I got scared. And he walked up to me, but he didn't know I was scared. I had my face on, so he couldn't tell that I was scared, but I was scared. And he said, "I'm sorry for what I did." XYZ. He said some things, but he apologized. And I was just like, whatever. And I walked off. That was the last time I saw him. But, you know, I only say that story to say that it takes a while. Like, you don't know what people are going through. You don't know how they feel about it. You don't even know if they're still dealing with, was it my fault? Did I do something wrong? You know, that happens to people. That happened to me, you know. Questioning my sexuality, you know, wondering, am I, because I let him put, and you know, once I got grown, obviously I'm like, I didn't let him put his hand on me. He did that. He tried to take advantage of me. But when you're a kid, especially think about as an adolescent dealing with everything that's going on with you, with your body, and being, you know, everything is just confusing because you don't know, it's all new. And then all of a sudden you have this thing and that interrupts that. It's something else that you don't understand. You know, you go there. I went there like wondering, was that me? Obviously it's not, but it made me go there. And a lot of people, I mean, it's so nuanced what that does to a person's psyche and what they have to go through. So, and obviously a lot of these people on CNN, the president, you know, may not have had to deal with that. Good for them. But you have to understand, like, you don't know what it's like if you haven't had to deal with that, you know. And a lot of people actually do know what it's like, and they're so focused on party that it doesn't matter. But for the president to like go on the press conference he had today, talking about, you know, well, he made an example of one of the reporters, like, well, what would happen if I nominated you for Supreme Court Justice, and someone came and said, well, 10 years ago you did this, 10 years ago, am I supposed to believe him? I said, if we're doing that all the time, then I ain't gonna never get no one into Supreme Court Justice. And I'm like, how insensitive is that to say to someone? You know, that as if, because the assumption is they're lying. Whoever would come out is lying. And if someone comes out, they're lying. And they're going to come out just to lie. Just for some reason, so you won't get into the Supreme Court Justice. And that's fucked up. I think that's the weirdest, craziest thing someone can say. But that goes to someone that's been as privileged as Donald Trump has been throughout his life. You know, it's a whole lot of things he don't have a perspective of because he just hadn't been through it. He can try to fake and front like he does, but he doesn't. He don't know what it feels like. Because he did, he wouldn't have said no dumb stuff like that. That's crazy. You know what I mean? So I think this is Courtney. I'm sorry, Ty. How old was Reggie? I'm sorry, too. Reggie was my mother's cousin. So Reggie was probably around my maybe a little younger than my mother. I say, well, probably like 10 years younger than my mother or something like that. He was extremely older than me. I think when I was 13 or 14, he had to have been about 30 or 35 or something like that. He was my mother's cousin. So he could have been even 40 at that time. Because he's my cousin through my mother, but they grew up as cousins. So I'm sure that he was, if 10 years, maybe like 7 or 8 years younger than my mother or something like that. He was an older guy. He did not say the Good Old Boys Club. He's 10 and he's an ass. Yeah, Reggie. Yeah, man, I appreciate that, Cheryl. Yeah, it was that, you know. Um, I'm sorry, you guys, that I'm like going in and out and stopping and starting just because I'm really in pain right now, and so just forgive me for that. But no, it was rough for a while. Honestly, the thing that kind of got me better, you know, it's weird. It's weird. It just happened. Either 2013 was when I was at USC. I was at USC and I was dating a girl, an amazing girl. She was Argentinian and Filipino, if I'm not mistaken. But she looked like she was black. I thought she was black. Everybody thought she was black, but she wasn't at all. But anyway, we had just started dating, and I was talking to her. This is like our first meeting. I'm at her house. And she starts to tell me this story about her being raped. And I was taken back. First off, I felt like I didn't deserve that information. Like, because we had just started. And I'm like, damn, but she trusts me enough to tell me that. I don't know why. But, you know, I felt honored. And it was a weird feeling because I felt like I didn't deserve that information because I didn't even really know I was getting to know her. And, but I received it. And we talked, and then I was like, well, since, you know, you told me something, I'll tell you something. I told her then. And I told her I've never expressed the part about my sexuality, like as far as me questioning that and thinking about that. Never spoken, you know, the people that I told about it happening to me, never expressed that. Never. That's something I just kept to myself because it don't need to be spoken. I'm a man. It was good. Whatever. I'm straight. You know. I never talked about it. Didn't, you know, I was afraid probably of what people would think. But with her, I told her that. And I think when I told her that is when none of it mattered anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's when I was kind of able to, like, it really, like, didn't dictate me. It didn't dictate my life or anything like that. You know, a lot of things. It was crazy because a lot of times I started having a lot of gay friends and stuff like that. And for a period of time, I didn't want to go like just alone with them to movies or get something to eat. Every time we would hang out, it would always be me, him, and another person. It would always be that, so people wouldn't think that I'm with this, which is my friend, right? Like, how shitty is that? You know, I've talked to my my friends about this, the ones that didn't know. You know, some of them say that they could tell I was still feeling uncomfortable for a while. But I told them, and it was immature. It was me being ignorant and just worried about everything. But really, telling her that, it didn't matter. Like, never. Go to my gay friend's house. We go out by ourselves, like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care what other people think. But, you know, that really lifted that weight off me about being concerned about certain things. So that's that. But yeah, remember, also Jordan is texting me. They're having a Q&A tomorrow on for the Patreon, I think. Yeah, for the Patreon Q&A. So look out for that. You guys, I appreciate. I know Jordan will be talking to you. I'll be going live a lot more once this neck heals. I may have to go to the doctor. I've been kind of pushing it off because I don't have medical right now. So, but I may have to go because I literally been in my bed or on the couch. The only reason I've been on the couch because another part of my back started hurting because I had been on the bed too long. So hopefully it starts to subside and I can move on with life because it's crippling, I tell you the truth. But Jordan will be back tomorrow. They're doing the Q&A. Look out for that. Remember, this is the super chat. You guys can contribute to what we're doing to this, to our journalism. And I think that's about it. I'm going to go and put some ice or some heat on this. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll see more of you. Exhausted 11, I appreciate you. I'll be seeing more of you going live a lot more in the coming weeks, especially once the documentary is done. You'll start seeing me a lot more with a lot more information about what's going on in the news. I want to talk about both of them, and I think the cop was fired yesterday. I need to read that article because I want to see what the circumstances around it and why they're still calling it manslaughter. Like, I don't get that. So anyway, appreciate you guys. Talk to you later. Support us by contributing to our GoFundMe. Support us by becoming a Patreon, and support us by sharing and watching the videos. And yeah, we believe in you. You believe in us, and together we can make this thing change. You know, it always takes somebody. It does. It always takes somebody to ride the course, and we're looking to do that. And we hope you're on the ride with us. All right. I keep looking at my computer. I forgot that I'm on the cameras right here, so I know I've been looking down the entire time. But you guys be good. Peace.